Welcome back to another episode of Who Should You Choose, the video series where I go through the prior videos, questions, and comments and help you with your HUT lineup decisions. No live stream for this video as I had to take care of some stuff. So let's get into all of the comments from the last video. And I want to start out with one specifically, the one that had the most likes, as that is how I try to sort these. Boza says you need to post these less often. Questions are getting boring and not useful like in the beginning. Everyone's just thanking you and trying to say hello. Do this once a week and answer some useful questions about the game. And again, there was a mix of replies throughout. I'll say this. I don't disagree with the fact that it's not the same as it used to be, where I would just go through, read everyone's lineup, and then be like, okay, go get this card and go get that card. The one thing I will say is that I try to mix it in and with lineup questions as well as rants and things like that. I've said this for the last couple of years. I personally enjoy just kind of shooting the shit with my community, and this is the best way to do it with the people that don't watch me on Twitch and that watch me on YouTube. This is kind of the best way that I can figure out how to do that because I don't live stream on Twitch. That being said, this did prompt me to come up with an idea. Obviously, when you're not able to get better if you can't take constructive criticism. So something that I think I might want you guys to do is if you have a lineup question, right? What I'd love you to do is to start the first line of it saying lineup question. All right. And then I'll go through and I'll try and pick 5 to 10 and then mix in the other comments as well, guys. If you are perusing the episode, make sure that you like a comment that, that you would like to see answered, because I usually try to start with the most liked comments first. So I appreciate you taking the time to give the video a like. I got to be honest with you, though, it doesn't make any sense to do less of these because you could just not watch every single one, right? Just, if you're not enjoying it, I apologize. You don't have to watch every single one, but just thought I would touch on that one first. Next up, all right, from Gibby. He says, this really isn't a question, more of an opinion on content. In my opinion, I'm sure there are many others, primetime, game day, etc., should have never been removed. Those cards are perfect for Tuesday, Wednesday content. Seems weird for new players when you release content on old events, but the MSPs aren't available. My cousin, who plays very casually, didn't understand why they keep releasing Halloween cards, but he is unable to make an MSP from that event if they're just going to keep adding cards to that event after its 2-week window. That is the perfect line that I am going to ask them, because I'm in total agreement. When I saw this year that they switched back to not being able to make the MSPs for the entire year, I thought it was one of the stupidest decisions, and I completely agree. I would love to hear their response to that, because you are absolutely correct. Why do they keep adding cards to the event if you can't go back and make the best ones? From Flipper, he says, have the flash challenges on a timer. The timer starts when you click on it, then you have 4 hours to complete it. I don't hate this idea. This is in regards to the flash challenges, how they came out right in the middle of the day. So anyone that has like a normal job or life, they weren't able to actually complete them. I actually don't mind that at all. Like if you get, you sit down, you have 4 hours to complete it. Once you click on it, then it like goes. That's actually a very interesting one. I don't know if they have the tech to do that, obviously, but I think that'd be a really, really good one. Baby Seamus says, hey man, I'm currently grinding through this week's Team of the Week challenges. The second from last one requires you to get a shutout. I was quite surprised when I realized I was playing goalie. I thought this challenge was awesome, as I haven't played goalie since my HL days when the boys wanted to mix it up a little, other than shootouts, penalty shots, and HUT. The challenge actually gave me a chance to learn the new goalie controls and was a lot of fun. I'm wondering what yours and the community thoughts are on this challenge. I loved when they added in the goalie moment specifically, because you're right. If you don't play World of Shell, you probably aren't ever going to use your goaltender in a capacity like that. I actually really enjoyed that. To be honest with you, when it comes to the moments, I wouldn't mind if they were all player locked and they just didn't require like some insane thing, because again, it is a moment for that player, unless it is a team moment, right? Then obviously, don't make it about that singular player. Kind of an OG, who should you choose here? I got 87 Makar from Weekly Moments Pack, unreal, and had the players to make an 87 Rantanen. Would you downgrade to 85 Makar and use the 87s to make Natchez to be ready for the next Star of the Month, or just keep Star of the Month Makar, who is an absolute dog? Ooh, that is interesting. The value is simply not there. Like, if you wanted Natchez, guys, here's the thing. You could just wait a little while, and the price will come down enough where it is just absolutely not anywhere near the same cost as it is to trade into 87s. We saw that last month with Makar, where Makar fell to like 350K, but I think it was like 800,000 to make the card. That is always something to remember. You're chasing the new hotness. So what I would do is just wait and then buy Natchez with coins. I think that losing that is a lot of value, losing Rantanen and Makar. Hey, Sleeves, do you know of if this is the last time we can use Team of the Week collectibles? We don't use them this week, and we'll just be out of luck. So, I got confirmation that from the dev team that yes, they will not come back. I mean, I'm sure they can just change their mind, but I got told that they're changing the format and that everyone should burn all of their collectibles. Again, trust EA at face value. It'll probably be a couple months before they revert back. But if you have your collectibles, feel free that you can actually turn them into 80 overalls. And honestly, if you're not making a Team of the Week card or Star of the Month card or anything like that, and you just use those same collectibles for 80 overalls, that's actually not bad fodder. Like, it's not bad for your collection in terms of value. So it's not a bad trade-in. Ray says, "Hey Slaves, loving the content lately. EA's content, not so much. I've been in your streams for the last few content drops, and I couldn't agree more about the content team needs to pay attention to the NHL. With the amount of lackluster content, Friday seems to be the only okay/good drops, essentially giving the player base one content day. Thanks, Sleep. Keep up the good work. I completely agree, man. I didn't think that prime times were all that important. They were never super sought after cards, but now this year with like theme teams being a little more viable because the progression is so much slower, it's really missing that like card that you could go after, like Granlund or a wild card where you can use a less popular player from your favorite team because he had a really good game, right? I think that needs to come back. I don't know why it was gone. The only thing I can think of is that maybe they lost employees and they don't have enough people to do it, but I don't really understand it, to be honest with you. Hey, Slaves, a longtime listener, first time commenter. I'd like to ask about applying collectibles towards receiving either an account bound versus an untradeable versus an open. I put the 6 Game Breaker collectibles towards the 85 account bound and received Kempe. I'm not thrilled overall, and he isn't a game breaker for me by any means. He was one of my first 85s, and I have 0 86s, but he's been just meh for me. With all that being said, I have 5 Protect the Net collectibles, and tomorrow will be my 6th. I dig most of the 86s available for stats, and the only reason I wouldn't do it is to be able to put the player in a pack later, such as Team of the Year that I'm saving up for. I feel I have so many B&D players in my lineup, and I like the free-to-play options, but within a couple of months, I'll be shooting for 90s and not 85s. I mean, I don't know if we're getting 90s all that soon, other than obviously Hedman, but that being said, I always recommend in these sets to go for the tradable card because in this event specifically, you might want to go 84s if you are trying to make an MSP because simply the 84s are what you use to trade in. But if you're not doing that, in the Game Breaker set specifically, I always do the tradable one because you're just shooting your shot, right? You might, you'll get an 81 and you could trade that in, whatever. It's not going to be a lot. But if you pull an 86 tradable, you just made bank. So I'd always recommend shooting your shot on those ones. Hey, Slaves, I'm having some issues where I can't activate 0 AP cover athlete Jack uses X Factor. I deactivated all the other players, and for some reason, I can't get it activated. Maybe I'm missing something. I built him through the sets, so I'm not sure if there are any bugs with the cards if you build the card rather than requiring it at release. Thanks. Hopefully this makes sense. You have to go into the ability list and actually click on it, and it will then activate. I don't know why, but you have to actually go in and click on it. Hey, Slavesy, first year HUT player, love the game. I have the Brandon Montour. Thinking of taking him to 88. Do you think he is worth it? He's got decent speed and endurance. Body checking is great as well. Your thoughts? I think he might be the best one. Obviously, lineup context is going to matter. But the great thing about these cards is that you can refund them and get all of your XP collectibles back. So you can mix and match. Like you can try out Montour. If you don't like him, go with Wallman and vice versa. So yeah, feel free. Upgrade him. Ace Slaves, I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I think we all missed the PowerUp collectibles. In NHL 24, it was way more enjoyable to earn PowerUp collectibles so you could choose which cards to upgrade. What I mean is, if you were behind or an event ends, you can still upgrade them at your own pace. On top of that, if you want to power someone up and try another card, it sucks we lost that. Yeah, we talk about this a lot. I feel like the content team is just changing for the sake of change, and they go one step forward, 2 steps back with all the convoluted ways to make the cards. PowerUp collectibles was the easiest, simplest, and it just made sense. It's unfortunate that we lost that method. is what it is. I agree that like if you can't make a master set item in the week that it's out or whatever, the time frame, right? Like you're gonna have to use coins to upgrade, and that's not a bad option because you can just get half back, but it's just unfortunate in that sense. Hey Sleeps, love the videos, but not going to lie, I'm a little bummed. I watch these videos daily, and I hear you reading comments of the people with the same complaints about EA and their BS content. I left a legit lineup question and was ignored. We all know EA sucks. I can't be the only one here coming to hear about lineup, who should you choose questions. Anyways, I appreciate the honesty and transparency with your takes. More importantly, glad to hear the family is doing well. Can't wait to celebrate Xmas with our little guy this year. Yeah, I appreciate the comment. Again, one of the issues that I had with my old Who Should You Choose videos was that I would just go from whoever commented first and then all the way to the end. But the problem was that if you saw the video a couple hours later, I wasn't able to get to your question, right? And then that just kind of led to whatever. That's why I go through, and if you watch the morning streams that I do where I do this live, I kind of go through and I just pick, right? And sometimes I skip over and I skim over, and I do apologize for that. Like I said, I think the way that I can solve this and try to make everyone happy, because I only have so much time in a day for these videos, would be to, again, first line, hut lineup question. Just all capital letters, and I'm going to try and pick out a bunch for each episode, as well as include the long comments. But I apologize that I missed yours. I don't want these to get repetitive. They're meant to be more of like podcasty type things that you guys can listen to while you're at work or on the way home or whatever. Just something to add on top of the normal videos that I do. Again, I apologize for like the simplicity behind these. I wish I had a couple hours where I could make these like super curated, but I just don't have that time in the day. So the other thing, guys, if you ever have a lineup question, ever, and you need, or even a question that you want answered immediately, just come to my Twitch stream. You won't have to sub. All you've got to do is ask, hey, should I choose this card or that card? I'll answer you immediately in the Twitch chat when you're hanging out. That's no issue. So if I don't get to your question, guys, and you really need to know, I go live at 10 a.m. Eastern time to go over the NHL recap where I watch all the stuff. We talk about HUD all the time. I go till about 12 p.m. Eastern time on those streams, and then I come back live in the afternoon to about 6 p.m. Eastern time to try and help. And if you're obviously not able to watch me during those times, then that's where these videos would, where you want to post your comments. But today, unfortunately, I had take my son to a doctor's appointment, so wasn't able to stream today. But yeah, this is like, I would say 95% of days, that's the time frame. Okay, hot take guy. Just for fun, I threw 12 collectibles to the Season 2 base pack. I pulled 172 overall, 10 75 to 78s, and an 83 overall high skin. I built 4 82 plus packs so far to save for Team of the Year, but going forward, I'm going to keep making the Season 2 base pack. This is in reference to the commenter yesterday, Joe Spetz, who is, I don't know if he's trying to make his fame much like the Hawk Tua, where he's really milking the unbelievable content that he released in my last video, because he was the one that commented and said, hey, try the one collectible base packs from the XP path, okay? Now, I'm assuming that EA devs aren't going to listen to any of these videos, and I'm assuming that they're not going to make it 13 minutes in. So here's a secret for everyone that made it in. Joe Spetz went through and he did 20 of those base packs in the XP set, okay? No one's obviously going to try that because there's 72 and above overall cards, and obviously everyone's going to assume you get bronzes. I did 24, and I got 20 75 and above player items. On top of that, I also got 3 80 and above items, which means that it is by far the craziest value if you are getting a 75 and above overall player 90% of the time, because that's 5,000 coins per collectible. So if you haven't burned all of your collectibles yet on the 82 and above packs, because that's what everyone in the community was jumping over themselves to do, I told you guys to wait, because usually stuff like this happens. Now, EA, when they figure this out, they are probably going to mess with the odds, because that is broken. If you are getting a 72 and above pack and you rarely pull bronze out of them and you get 75 and aboves, like, they can change that immediately. So here's what I would recommend you do. If you watch this video and you go to the do them 5 at a time. And if you get 3 bronze cards, chill, all right? Or if you don't get any, then don't burn the rest of your collectibles. So do it 5 at a time. Don't throw 40 in there, and then EA can change this at any time. I'm not telling them about it. That's their problem if they want to go and mess with the odds, all right? I'm not saying a thing, and hopefully it was hidden enough in this video. But yes, shout out to Joe Spetz. You did great, kid. You did great. Awesome comment yesterday. This is why I love doing these videos and hearing from the community, because I wouldn't have known that, because who is trying the base packs for the one collectible in the XP set? So, anyways, Samuel says, Bonjour, Mr. Hutnut. This is a copy from last vid. Do we think they could change the Team of the Year format to the new way they are doing, like the events where we need certain overalls to do collectibles? Guys, they are changing everything on a whim. I don't know how anyone in this community can be confident that they are not going to drastically change how Team of the Year is done, or even when it comes out, or who is selected, or how many Team of the Year items are. Like, I would go in thinking that you have no idea how it's going to work. On top of that, I would almost guarantee that it will be a higher overall than fodder that you can make, something along those lines, or maybe they'll switch back to collectibles or something. I have no idea, or specific cards, like Team of the Year cards, because they know that everyone saves all of their cards for that event. It is a money-making event. It is purely for marketing. They will find a way to nullify that kind of stuff, right? So it's tough, but I would anticipate that it is completely different than years past, and they find a way to screw all of the people that have saved like 80 and 81s and 82s, and they just won't really be usable for the Team of the Year sets. Fully expect that, so... full-time subscriber, love the way you present the advice on how to choose the right card sleeves. Not sure if anyone else notices, but the game sure gets stale once all the moments are finished. I find myself behind the 8 ball and stuck. Any suggestions on how to get more out of Hut? Tier 4 player here, and I grind. Wow, do I grind. By the way, can you somehow find out how to stop the woman announcer from saying shutout when you need one in the third period? It's too darn funny. I mean, dude, honestly, the burnout, it's because you're just dealing with the FOMO, man. You don't want to miss out. They have you stuck in that loop. The only way to fix that really is to just go all theme team. Like, only go after cards that you really enjoy. That way, when like something comes out and you don't care, like say you don't care about Sergei Gonchar, skip Hut Champs. You know, like there's no reason to. It's a video game at the end of the day. It's just a video game. It is meant to be enjoyment, not a job. And the last question here, you guys can't see it on the screen, sorry. Hey slaves, more of a comment than a question. I love the new format of who should you choose and of the streams in the morning. Me being a dad and old man would love to see less gameplay and more discussion. Was thinking you could do live voice segments with other content creators or even loyal Twitch followers like Airborne and others, like a phone-in radio show. Your community has grown so much. Would love to see some new live segments. Keep up the great work. I love that idea. The whole reason of who should you choose, though, guys, is just because it is very easy for me to record and post, right? And I don't know. This is becoming something that I think I have more here than I realize, and maybe spending an hour a day on like a podcast type style thing would be the way to go. Kind of like what Coffee and Shell used to be. Although, like, again, I kind of like release all the HUD information. Coffee and Shell isn't dead, by the way. And you guys have my actual podcast with Padre. We just, we're not really playing a ton of the game. It's not super competitive. And it's harder with both of us having kids to get together. But that being said, man, I got to think about something here. Let me know your comments in the next video, guys, what you think about the video series. And again, remember, Hut lineup question as the email subject line in your next comment if you have a Hut lineup question, and I will be sure to throw some of those in there. That is going to do it for this episode of Who Should You Choose. I hope I helped you out, guys, and I do apologize for the staleness to them, but I'm going to keep releasing them because a lot of people do still enjoy them, and I have fun making them. So that is going to do it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.